The Labor Department is proposing a regulation that would impact the amount of tips that people in the service industry earn. And this is something that Democrats in the Senate are trying to fight against. But the Labor Department under the Trump administration seems very likely to move forward with this regulation. Now, let me give you the details on what it is. In a letter to Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, 24 Senate Democrats said the agency needed to bail on the measure because officials concealed evidence from the public projecting a significant loss in money for millions of tipped employees across the country. So the Labor Department leaders had suppressed an internal analysis showing workers could lose billions of dollars in tips if the agency enacted the rule as proposed. So what is the rule? In order for you to understand it, you have to kind of go back in time and see what the Obama administration did and what the Labor Department wants to undo. Back in 2011, the Labor Department instituted a regulation limiting the scenarios in which restaurants can force employees to share their tips with colleagues. So come to me for a second. Basically what was happening was restaurant owners were forcing their employees to pool their tips, and then they would basically give out the tips to all employees based on whatever, procedure they had at that restaurant. That was a little problematic because you would have waiters, waitresses, bartenders, bartendresses losing a significant amount of their bottom line, and they make significantly less than other people in the industry. And what I mean by that is they don't have to get paid minimum wage. Since they get paid in tips, they can get paid as little as $4 an hour, for instance, because the tips are supposed to make up for it. So that was an issue. The Obama administration sweeps in and says we need to regulate this to make sure there isn't any mismanagement of these tips. Now, Trump's Labor Department wants to do away with the rule, so management from a restaurant could do as it pleases with servers and bartenders' tips, so long as they are paid a full minimum wage before gratuities. So you might be wondering, well, what's the big deal? If they're getting paid minimum wage, why are we concerned about this? Well, the way that this new regulation by the Labor Department is written, it includes a bit of a loophole that allows the restaurant owners to pocket some of that tip money. When federal agencies release a major rule also, like this one, they typically put out a study showing what its economic effects would be. The Labor Department did not do that in this case. Claire McCaskill started hounding them about doing the study, and they have refused to even respond. So again, the loophole, in addition to the fact that they're refusing to release data about how this would negatively impact workers in the food service industry, makes Senate Democrats uneasy.
This should be called the Small Business or Business Department, because clearly they're pulling away at any sort of protection or any sort of law that is on the side of anybody who's a laborer, right? There's nothing that is protecting them, and they're trying to deregulate as much as they can. And what is really insidious about what they did was that they also told staffers to try to manipulate the stats in a way to make it appear to not be as alarming as it is.
Right.
And so we already know, then check, that's why they didn't release the report, right? But also, we got to understand what's happening with this. They're taking money out of the pockets of low-wage workers and then trying to put it in the pockets and the hands of businesses that they're obsequious to. And so this is the stuff that we need to talk about when we're talking about what Trump policy does on an everyday level, and how this man who ran on the idea that he was anti-establishment for the little guy is consistently, snuggling up to his corporate friends and donors.
Yes, exactly. So the only people that are in favor of what the Labor Department is proposing to do are people in the restaurant industry. And I'm not talking about the actual workers, I'm talking about the people who run the show. And it worries me because, I mean, think about, what is your incentive to do a great job as a server in the food industry if you know that your tips are going to be snatched from you based on whatever policy the manager, the restaurant manager, the restaurant owner has, right?
It also opens the door, as you say, in addition to maybe there being this disincentive now, that, or certainly curbing your incentive, which is financial. It also opens the door to sexual harassment, right? Your money is now being controlled by a manager slash owner who can affect whether or not you're going to get those tips or how much you're going to get. I mean, it creates another level of corruption, frankly, that has all sorts of problems associated with it. So it's just it's a real, and really, you make such a good point. It's, you know, if the rhetoric of Trump was all about the little guy, but we knew it was BS when he was saying it. I mean, his rhetoric was all about drain the swamp. Then, of course, it's just never been swampier than it is now. But this is just one more element, and now it affects small business as well.
If you like this video, bless your heart. We got a lot more where that came from. We do a full show every day, Monday through Friday. Come enjoy it ad-free by becoming a member, tytnetwork.com/join.